Hey, what's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Boston and I'm a music photographer based in LA, and today we are talking about branding and doing a self-portrait branding shoot. I know that a lot of people still try and do things on the internet, and branding is very, very important, and right now you might not be able to meet up with a photographer, or you might not even have the money to pay a photographer for a branding photo shoot. So I wanted to take you through my thought process for doing branding exercises and the direction you should take when considering a branding photo shoot, whether it's a self-portrait or you're hiring a photographer. And at the end of this, we're gonna have new branding photos and stuff for me. So I will walk you guys through what I mean and everything, and I don't want to keep this intro too long, so we're just gonna jump right into it. So the first thing, when we're talking about any sort of photo shoot, if you are hiring a photographer or doing something for yourself, it's really important to write down exactly what you need. And I highly recommend writing it down, because sometimes when you think about things, you're all up in the air about it, but when you actually write it down, you get a better, clearer picture of exactly what you want as the outcome for that photo shoot. So when you're thinking about your photo shoot, write down, what are you trying to fill? What are you going to use those pictures for? What content do you need updated? So writing this down, very important. Just take a few moments to brainstorm what you actually need and make sure that you have it on hand. So when you're done with the photo shoot, you can check off the things and make sure that you got it before you leave. Okay, last thing before we get shooting, think about your brand. What represents you, or what do you represent? Think of the things that you post a lot about. Think about just the things that you want to represent. So for me, on my Instagram, I have listed Los Angeles, Nikon, and Cat Mom. So I'm a photographer, I obviously shoot Nikon, and I kind of want to represent that in my photos. So most likely I'm going to bring a Nikon camera as a prop for my photos. So that's one thing. Los Angeles, I guess I could shoot somewhere outside where maybe there's palm trees. That just seems like a lot of work, and I don't necessarily want to be just associated with LA. It's just something that I don't think I'm super connected with my brand. I haven't always lived in LA with my brand, so we're gonna exclude that one. But then I also mentioned Cat Mom. So I have a cat. I post about her a lot on Instagram. She's always in my stories. So I was also thinking I could bring my cat. For you, you might not always want to bring your pets into your branding photo shoot, but say you were a YouTuber that you often feature your dog in your videos, or you do dog content, 100% you should use your dog in your photos. Definitely. So what I want to do is definitely bring in my cat, see if she actually will deal with this. Most likely we're not going to get a great shot with her, but we're definitely going to try it. And then I'm for sure going to bring in my Nikon camera. So we'll see how that works. I can't personally think of other things that I think that really represent me. It's really important to also think of colors that you want to use. So if you're a very light and airy person, maybe you want to shoot outside. Maybe you want to have the blue sky in the background. For me, I'm more partial to darker tones, so I'm probably going to shoot with a simple black background. And it's really important to consider your background. I was thinking about shooting in front of this wall, but for the images I'm going to be doing, if I was holding a cat, holding a camera in front of this background, that would be incredibly busy. So I'm scrapping that idea. I'm gonna go with simple so I can focus on me and the props that I'm holding, which is my cat and my camera, and we're gonna go with that. So make sure you think of the colors that you wanna include, the style you wanna include. So it might be outside, might be inside. We're gonna go with inside, but you're also gonna wanna think about what props you wanna bring, or if you just want it to be you. You got to think about the styling, your clothes, just what makes you you. Wear that, obviously, and bring that to the photo shoot. So for me, trying to keep it more simple, so it's focused on me, the cat, and the camera, and a simple background. So hopefully that helps. Just make sure that you think about your brand, who you are, and what you want people to remember when they think about you. So I am going to get ready and then we're gonna hop into my studio to take some photos against that black backdrop that I'm talking about, and hopefully we get some fun ones.
A few moments later.
This lighting in here right now looks horrible, but I promise in photos it's gonna look good. Let me give you a quick overview of how I have my studio set up. I find it incredibly helpful to see how other photographers have studio setups, and this is actually really easy. I think that anyone can do this for really cheap too for a studio setup. So really quickly, the camera is going to be directly in front of me. I am going to be standing, and I'll show you where I'm going to be standing in a second, but I'm going to be straight at the camera, kind of in the middle of the frame. And then to my right, probably 45 degrees from where I'm standing, I have this light and a studio strobe. This studio strobe is amazing. It's a beauty dish. So there's actually a circular dish on the inside that like takes away that hot brightness, I guess, that you get from flash or strobe, and then it's got this diffuser on it that makes it a beautiful soft light. And then this light, the only purpose of it is to help the camera focus on me because it's incredibly dark in here. When you look at this from the camera's point of view, I have my trigger here for that studio strobe, and then this light to help it autofocus, obviously. And I'm standing right in front of this black background, and it's gonna zoom in pretty much right on me. This is what it looks like. I know this looks kind of weird right now, but it's just a nice, clean black background, which I like. Okay, so for some of the technical aspects of it, I am shooting only with one studio strobe. It is the lowest that it can go. This light is honestly amazing, and it was only $100, so I'm very happy with it. You could actually put a constant light, like a bright white light to the right of you, and it'd look almost exactly the same. I just think that the studio strobes are a little crisper. You can get a similar style with the constant light, so don't worry about it if you don't have a strobe. You don't have to invest in one for a photo shoot, but just saying, if you have a strobe, super easy. I am using the Nikon app, the old one. It's not very great, but I do have the 750. It only runs on the old app. So I'm using this to see myself focus and trigger. I'm shooting at 1/100th of a second at f-stop 2.8. So I'm pretty open. I'm at an ISO of 100, just very base. So I'm gonna pick up my camera that I'm gonna be shooting with as it's also in the photos with me. And then once I feel like we've gotten some good ones there, I'm gonna go grab my cat. I don't think she's gonna do well, but we're gonna at least try it. But I wanna make sure that I got some good shots before I get frustrated with her. So we're gonna do this. My pants dead. You can't get so many treats after this, I promise. I'm sorry. I know you don't like being held too much. Okay, so I don't think my cat's gonna let me do anything else. She is out exploring and she is so mad at me picking her up. So we're gonna let her do her. I'm not gonna push her into any more photos. Got a few funny ones, and we're gonna see what we can do with it. Obviously, it's a new day and I just got done editing, and I am so happy with how the photos turned out. I used a new lens and I am absolutely obsessed with how it looked. I am so happy because my cat was able to deal with the photos that we were able to get one beautiful shot of her. And actually my face didn't look good, so I swapped out my face for a different photo and then merged them obviously in Photoshop to get the final image. And it just it looks so good. I'm so happy with it. Everything turned out really nicely. I got one photo of me and my camera that I'm going to use as more of a headshot. One of the things I mentioned in the beginning was that I needed a new profile picture, something for like my Instagram, my YouTube, so they all look the same, that is that photo that I'm going to use. I also have a funnier one of me and my cat, and that is going to be my banner and my end screen. And one thing that I kind of wanted to highlight is with talking about like knowing what you're shooting for, since I was shooting on that black background and I did that purposefully, I was able to add in more background. So if I shot outside, it would be significantly harder to add in more realistic background if I didn't shoot wide enough. But with these images, since I was just shooting up against black, I was able to extend it so I could have like a long banner photo or move around and position the photo how I wanted it for the end screen. So when you're shooting for your brand, when you're shooting for like social media content, obviously keep in mind what you're shooting for and the dimensions of those photos. And I mentioned that in the beginning of the video, but when you think of that, when you're planning out the shoot, it allows you to do the things like I did to kind of adjust your images to fit the sizing. So this was really fun for me. I'm so happy with how everything turned out and so excited to just like finally upload everything to my YouTube and my social media so everything looks the same. So I'm so excited about it and had so much fun, and I hope that this helped kind of walk you through my process when I'm doing my self-portrait shoots for my branding and all of that fun stuff. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me share this, because I just had so much fun going through these photos and taking these. So thank you so much for being here with me. I do put out new videos every Thursday, so please come around and hang out with me in the next one. See you then. Bye!